Hi, and welcome to this episode of Strategic Solutions TV. My name is Carol Bell, and today we'll be discussing a real important topic to a lot of people, and that is how do you find a good orthodontist, especially when you're looking for one online. Today we have a special guest who is going to help us with this, Dr. Dustin Tipton from Marietta, Georgia. Dr. Tipton, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Carol.
You're so welcome. Dr. Tipton, I know that you're with the practice of Farrar and Tipton Orthodontics in Marietta, and between the two of you, you've got a lot of years of experience in this business. So for someone who is looking for a really good orthodontist, what things do you think are important for people to look for, especially when they start their search online?
That's a really good question. I like to think that you really should base it on reviews of the practice. Know what you're getting by asking friends and neighbors what kind of experiences they've had. The internet is an excellent source to find some of these reviews. I also like to think that another thing you should look at is the experience, as you mentioned. That's a big deal. You don't want someone that's straightening teeth for the first time. It's a good idea to look at the resume of the doctor you might be dealing with and make sure that it's someone of reputation that has had the experience. Education is another big factor. There is a specialty for orthodontics, and so after dental school there would be those that can straighten teeth with braces but not necessarily have attended a residency program. You do want to check that out, make sure that the person straightening your teeth or your child's teeth has gone that extra step, and make sure that they are qualified to do it to the level that would be merited. Availability is a big thing in selecting an orthodontist. You do want to check to make sure that your schedules will mesh with theirs. Make sure that that doctor has the hours and the days on the schedule on the calendar that would fit your days, because there are several appointments involved in what we do. There may be 10 to 20 appointments in getting the teeth straightened from start to finish, and so the scheduling of things can be very important. I guess that would summarize it, but do definitely check the references, make sure somebody has gone through that practice you might have known and has a good result, because what we do for a living is very visible to the layperson, and you can look at a smile and say, gee, that's really good, or maybe that's not so hot. So does that answer your question?
Absolutely, and I think that's great advice, because not only is it important for the way someone looks, but it's really important for the function of the mouth as well, to be sure that you've got someone who has the training necessary to do that kind of work, I would think.
That's absolutely correct, and you may not pick up on those subtle nuances of how they fit together, but that's our job, and usually the dentist in town can pick up on that too, and if they're referring patients in, that's a pretty good indication. If a general dentist is telling you might go somewhere, a lot of times that is who you should listen to. Other times still you may ask your dentist, well, what about this guy? And so it's always a good idea to maybe interview your orthodontist and make sure you like what you're getting before you start into a procedure that may take a year or 2 years.
That's true. That's a great idea. I hadn't really thought about that.
Sure.
So what kind of experience can someone expect to have when they come to see you? And what do you think makes Farrar and Tipton Orthodontics different or unique from the other orthodontists in your area?
That's another good question. We like to think that our practice is geared toward more of a smaller family environment. We know our patients by name. There's two of us that practice here, Dr. Farrar and myself, and our staff has been unchanged for quite some time. The least experience of any of our staff members at this point, I believe we have someone that's only done this for 10 years. So we do have a lot of qualified people running around. There's people that have worked here for over 20 years. So we're getting a wealth of experience in the mouths we're working on. We like to think that we are more available than some of our the other options people might have in town. By available, I mean that we're here 4 and 5 days a week in the same location. We are very reachable, very easy access to get to. And our hours are very open as well. We have several days of the week where we start at 7 a.m. And then there's days of the week that we may run past 5. So we like to get both ends of the spectrum. And that tends to be very helpful on some of our school-aged kids. Not everybody can just jump out of school when they need an orthodontic appointment. So we try to cater to everybody's schedule. The other thing that I would mention is we are very current on our technologies. From the braces we use the Damon system. It's a type of brace that I'd be happy to give more detail in. It's easier described or shown than described, but it's a wonderful system. It's helping us pull fewer teeth than we ever have as a practice, as a profession. We're doing fewer, scarier appointments like headgear and expanders and some of the things that may haunt some folks. We also don't even use the bands much anymore, from the rings that go around the back molars that people have come to dread about. Oh, I had these spacers placed between my teeth and it's going to be awful. And we love it when people come in and they've just had their braces put on and said, you know, that wasn't bad at all. Someone had worked it up to be something scary and it wasn't after all. So our technology's up. The Invisalign that we use as well is a wonderful alternative to those that may want to get their teeth straightened but may not necessarily want people to know what they're doing. And we have the clear Damon system as well, even down to the radiography we use. You do need to go to an office that would have digital imaging with the least amount of exposure possible, and we like to think we're up to speed on that as well. So those are a few of the things, but between the staff, Dr. Farrar and myself, we do like to know that people are happy with us as a small practice, that you can expect us to know what's going on and not be fumbling around calling somebody a number rather than a name. So we're fortunate to be where we are.
And between the two of you, you've got quite a bit of experience, don't you?
Sure. Dr. Farrar is going on 30 years of doing this, so he and himself we could advertise that. I'm coming from an environment where I'd worked in corporate dentistry, and that just simply means it was more of a high-paced, higher volume practice, where there were days I was seeing 100 kids a day. That ran its course, of course, so now we're a standalone practice. There's no business backing us. It's just Dr. Farrar and myself. So, but in those days of seeing 100 kids a day for 4 or 5 years, you saw some of everything. And Dr. Farrar is in the same boat. So between the two of us, and we do share our patients. We ever have a tough situation, it is wonderful to be able to run it past another doctor and say, hey, what would you do here? We like to think that 2 heads are better than 1 in some of these situations.
I agree. That sounds like it definitely would be an advantage. So, Dr. Tipton, I understand you have some special offer that you give to new patients or people that are considering coming into the practice?
Well, sure. If you'll mention that you've seen us on this, please tell the girls at the front, and we'll offer a free consultation, initial exam, if you will, for having seen this.
Great. So for someone who's interested to come in and have a consultation or come in and talk to one of you, what's the best way for someone to contact you?
Multiple. You could dial 770-428-0283. That's our office phone number. Or you could look us up on our website, and that is friendlybraces.com.
Great. This has been such an informative interview, and I really appreciate the fact that you took your time out of your busy schedule to help us with this today. And so for all of you that are in Marietta, North Atlanta area, that's a huge area, and so it's really important to find an orthodontist that has the experience that Dr. Tipton and Dr. Farrar have. So I encourage you to give them a call and go in and talk to them. Dr. Tipton, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.